problem of violence in Mexico is linked in so many ways with the reality and the everyday life of the US that we really need to have a critical and informed uh, look at it. It starts obviously with the consumption. The, the, the consumers of drugs are the main market for the drugs that come from Mexico or through Mexico. They generate the money that feeds these criminal organizations that have become so violent. But also we have other flows that we need to understand as part of the phenomenon. It's just not a matter of drug consumption and illegal trafficking, but also a matter of drug trafficking toward Mexico from the US. It's very easy to find, buy, and take powerful weapons south of the border. Human trafficking is something that the same organizations are doing in Mexico, bringing people from Central America and Mexico into the US, and also feeding a demand in the US. And there's another flow that people don't talk much about, which is of people who are deported from the US back into Mexico after committing crimes in the US, and in many cases becoming socialized with criminal organizations in the US and then coming back to Mexico and continuing with that. It's tens of thousands of people every year. And the other important link that we should really look at very closely is policy. It's how the US government is participating and encouraging the approach that the Mexican government has toward illegal trafficking and organized crime. That is not only the policy approach in terms of the goals of ending this traffic, but also the military and intelligence support, the money that is going to the Mexican agencies, armed forces, but also intelligence, to work on this. And obviously the many US agents that are working in Mexico, from the DA, FBI, etc. So what are we doing there? Who is what is the collateral cost of that policy? Who is killing whom? I think that there are many questions that have to do with that policy and those connections that are not being raised in when people talk about Mexico and the US. They just see this image of out of control violence, and they tend to say, well, that's Mexico. That won't happen here. That we have nothing to do with it. But there's so many ways in which the two countries are connected that really the questions have to be sharper, I think.